Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about what's a better city to live in, Cancun or Merida, Mexico. Now, the reason I'm bringing this topic up today is because, again, it's one of the topics that you guys bring up from time to time and ask me as a question of, you guys are always asking me questions, so like that's one of the questions that I get asked a lot, meaning, which is a better place to live? Somewhere like Merida or somewhere like like Acapulco or Cancun or something like that. But basically, we're just going to be comparing. Right now, we're just going to be comparing Merida to Cancun. And why is that? Well, basically because the thing is that they're both in the Yucatan Peninsula. They're both very close to each other. Now, Cancun is in its own place called Quintana Roo, and then Merida is in the Yucatan. So the Yucatan is the state, Quintana Roo is the state, the state in which Merida is in, and Quintana Roo is the state in which Cancun is in. Now, there's two completely different states. Just like if you're in the United States, just like if you're in Canada, just like if you're wherever you are. Every country has different states, and for the most part, these states are very different from each other. So the thing is that so what happens is in my opinion, I think that living in Merida is far superior than living somewhere like Cancun. And again, this is just a personal taste. Today's video is basically just going to be based off opinion, based off my own personal taste, my own personal likes, dislikes, that whole thing. And you guys can take it with a grain of salt, and we can go from there, I guess. We can keep it going in the comments. But basically what it boils down to is the fact that somewhere like a Cancun is going to be more similar to the US, unfortunately, and I'm talking about all the negatives that come with it. So if you're if you go somewhere like Cancun, there everything is, number one, everything is going to be way more expensive. That's number one. Number two, you have a higher chance of crime over there, and the reason that there's a lot more crime in a place like Cancun is just basically because in a place like that, there's a lot of tourism. There's a lot of also incentive for them to to have a drug operation over there. And the reason being is because if you see Cancun on the map, it's on right on the ocean. It's on the Gulf. It's very perfectly located in order to move things around from the US and into Central America and vice versa. So for anyone out there that's just a little curious, that's basically how it goes. When you come out to Merida, Merida is very much like a small, quaint little town. It's out here. It's you guys already know it's like one of the safest places in all of the Americas. In fact, it's the safest place in all of Mexico, and basically the safest place in all of the Americas as well. Outside of Ottawa, Canada. So right off the bat, it's winning in that department. When it comes to just how safe is it, how much of a how safe it is, right there. It's already definitely a winning over Cancun. Number two is the cost of living. Again, moving out to Cancun or to that coast all the way over there, things are just way more expensive, and in a lot of cases they're just as pricey as US prices. And that's not good. A lot of people move out here in order for a better quality of life, and that better quality of life constitutes basically having what is it, a cost of living at the minimum. And so the thing is that somewhere like Cancun, things are way more expensive because, again, it's a tourist town. There's a lot of action going on over there. A lot of even though things like prostitution are legal all across Mexico, there are certain hotbeds in certain places in which a lot of these behaviors are going to be even more exploited. So you know, just to answer that question right there, since we are talking about it, like a lot of people, a lot of guys ask me, hey, so how's that, how does that situation work out here? How to get, you know, women or what have you? And the reality is that, like, again, if you're out here in Merida, sure, you can find them. You know, I'm not gonna get into details there, you know, I'm trying to be a little friendly with the video here. I know I got my female viewers, but the point is that out here it's a lot more difficult to find, just like drugs and other shit, because, you know, that's not what moves out here. You know, out here it's all about, you know, family friendly, it's all about art and culture and all this other stuff. So the reality is that, you know, that stuff doesn't sell out here, basically. You know, there's still a market for it, just like there's a market for it, you know, everywhere. But basically, you know, it's not even remotely close to the same as Cancun. You know, people literally go to Cancun to do lots of drugs, to, you know, do prostitution, you know, to do a lot of horrible things like that, or, you know, not so horrible, just depends on how you look at it. But, you know, basically that's what, you know, Cancun is all about. You know, Cancun is like Las Vegas, like Miami, like things. So if you know, you might be into that kind of lifestyle, you might be looking to live in that kind of world, you know. So to me, you know, coming from where I come from, Miami, born and raised out there, you know, to me, it's not something that I want to live in. That's not somewhere I want to be. It's not something that attracts me as a place of where I want to live. So out here, I might be like around 30 minutes away from the beach, give or take, but the beach is still right there. And then even if I, you know, were to live on the beach, there's a few of you guys out there that, you know, have inquired about moving to the beach. Some of you guys that are living on the beach, if you notice, you know, again, if you know, the thing for me, living on the beach is not necessarily a good option, just because of my limited resources at the moment. Living on the beach would actually make it pretty difficult for me personally in order to live out there. So the thing is, if you have a little bit of better resources, if your resources are a little better, and you know, you can live on the outskirts of town or outside and, like, you know, right on the beach, but close, you know, but far away from, you know, other, you know, again, like a town or anything like that, then, you know, it's good. You know, you can go out to Progreso, you can go out to the beaches out here and live in semi-seclusion. Or if you want to live in Progreso, you're still living, you know, kind of like amongst the people. And what do I mean? Because remember, like, if you're a city folk, you're used to having everything around you, but the more rural you go, the more difficult it is to, you know, just go to the mart, you know, the quickie mart, to go pick something up, or go to the pharmacy, you know, or anything like that. You might have to take a little bit of a drive. It might be a little uncomfortable. For me, I like being where I am because I'm on foot all the time. Right now, I'm on foot, and so therefore I can get around very easily and go hop on a bus, things like that. It might not be so easy out there, but if you move somewhere to like Cancun, you know, you're probably living on the beach. You know, you know, not everywhere in Cancun, but, you know, most likely you are. And the closer you are living to the action, the more expensive things are going to be. And this is the way it is. Because even where I live, even though my rent and my everything is dirt cheap, it's actually cheaper out here. I'm living in one of the most expensive parts of town, which is in El Centro. The other expensive parts of town are in the north and stuff like that. So here I'm paying, you know, my cost is basically, you know, my cost out here is for the property value, the land value, you know, the fact that I'm in the center of the city, in a historical touristy part. That's why I pay more for my area. In the north, you're not necessarily paying for land value per se, you're paying for convenience. So when you live in the north, you're basically paying for the convenience of all the American conveniences, you know, like that there's a Starbucks at every corner, the mall, you know, all the first world conveniences exist here in Mexico, in Merida. I mean, they all exist here in Merida. They exist in all of Mexico, but they definitely exist out here in Merida. Oh, guy over there, it's crazy driving. But anyways, but they definitely exist out here in Merida, but they're just in the north part of the city. Since I come from America, I just came from LA and that whole thing, you know, to me it's like I was born into that. I don't want to live like people live in the north. A lot of people like you guys, you know, from Canada, the US, Europe, you don't want to live like I live. You know, some of you guys want to live in the northern part. And so that's the thing, you know, out here you get to live in the upper 1% type lifestyle, and you know, with what is it, with a very, very cheap cost of living, you know, so meaning, you know, you can live in the, you know, in the north part of the city. You can even live in you know, golf courses, and you know, there's tons of like upper 1% stuff out here. But you know, basically, if you're middle class, you can afford it. Now if you go to Cancun, you know, not really. You know, Cancun, it's back to, you know, how that's supposed to be, meaning that it's going to be more expensive for you, you know, to live out there. And that's basically it. You know what, I'm going to sit here, I'm gonna finish this video, might as well. But yeah, so the thing is that, like, you know, moving out to Cancun is it's not, you know, so this video is talking about which is better, you know, Merida or Cancun. So again, in my opinion, I really do think it's Merida by far, because again, it's all about quality of life for me per se. I don't want to live on the beach, you know what I mean? So this is perfect. I grew up by the beach. I don't want to live you know, somewhere where, you know, is really close to where I used to live, you know, meaning that there's a lot of violence, you know, there's a lot of you know, drugs, there's a lot of you know, underground culture. I don't want to be a part of that, you know. Again, I grew up around all that. I'm good, you know. So to me, you know, there's a lot of things about, you know, Cancun that just turn me off, you know. And again, Cancun, yeah, I don't know, it just feels weird sitting down, but you know, the thing is that Cancun is basically, you know, just like any other tourist type destination in Mexico, which has been ruined by the gringos, you know. It's specifically Americans. And so, you know, Cancun and Acapulco are two main destinations. The reality is that, like, if you want to live on the beach and you want to live, like, have an awesome Mexican life out here, you know, there's other better options, you know. If all you're looking for is the beach, and that's like 100%, you know. So if you guys, you know, are out there and you guys are looking to move out here, and the reason you don't want to pick Merida is because of the beach situation, again, you know, there's a bunch of other cities out here in all of Mexico that are on the beach that are way better options than Cancun or even Acapulco. Now, it's not to say that Acapulco isn't great and Cancun isn't great, but it's more like it's only great if you have the financial ability to live in those places. But the reality is that if you're gonna be living large in certain places out here, you might as well just stay in the States, or you might as well just stay in your first world country, because, you know, it's just more beneficial. The reason most people want to come out here is, again, for better quality of life, you know, for many reasons. Everyone is very different, but the reality is that I think the reason that a lot of people are flocking towards Merida, and I'm not just talking about you guys watching my channel, I'm talking about all other Mexicans and a lot of other Latin American countries are flocking directly here to Merida, because, you know, this place is beyond phenomenal. Again, it's the lowest cost of living, it's the safest city, it's beyond growing. Sure, there's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that, you know, we got the good, the bad, the ugly. It's not all good all the time. And that's why, you know, I'm trying to talk about on this channel, we're just bringing up all of these other, you know, topics of discussion, you know, of all the things that happen here, not just the good. But the reality is that when you come down to it, you know, this city out here is beyond phenomenal in comparison to, you know, not just many cities in Mexico, but a good majority of the cities in all of Latin America and all of the Americas, period. You know, basically, when it comes down to just the basic necessities of cost of living, tranquility, and great, you know, food and culture, and you know, being able to raise a family and all that good stuff, you know, this is like a major leader. It's a major leader in a lot of awesomeness like that. So, you know, to me, like right now, I mean, I'm just out here, you know, I got my bag full of empty beer bottles. I'm about to go in here and exchange my empty beer bottles for full beer bottles, and it's only gonna cost me like $3 to get 4 new beers of Modelo, you know, some of the best beer, you know, my favorite anyway, and just living life. So the thing is, again, you know, there's a lot of reasons why, you know, a lot of people want to move out, you know, to a place like Mexico or even Latin America, but I think that basically a lot of it boils down to just the basic necessities of you know, cost of living, safety, and being able to raise a family, you know, just basic stuff, you know, like education, you know, whatever, you know, really just super duper basic stuff. And the reality is that, you know, I honestly think that a place like Merida, and there's a lot of other cities out there in Mexico that are just as awesome, or, you know, even maybe awesomer. Let's talk about it in the comments. You know, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But basically, when it comes down to it, and Merida is definitely a million times better than Cancun, because there's nothing that you can get in Cancun that you can't get here, outside of, you know, again, certain hard drugs, you know, certain, you know, underground things. And you know, again, if you want things bad enough, you can always get them out here. But the reality is that to me, it's not worth it. You know, it's not worth it, because it's like, you know, there's a lot of people that live in Miami and love that lifestyle. A lot of people live in Las Vegas and love that lifestyle, but a lot of people that don't. A lot of people would rather live in San Diego over Los Angeles. A lot of people would rather live in small town USA and that stuff. So, you know, living out here is more like living in San Diego or a small town USA type of thing. In fact, it's a growing city. It's a growing metropolitan area. It's only going to keep growing and growing. Again, my plan, like I'm sure a lot of you guys is to buy property, you know, on the outskirts of the city, because eventually, as the years go by, you know, that will be part of the city. And it's just like everything else, you know, coming from a place where we see a lot of growth, especially in the United States of America, we can see ahead and definitely see that, you know, this city is not only going to keep growing, but it has to grow, you know, one way, and it's not going to grow up per se, it's going to grow outwards. And so, you know, being able to get like land for extremely cheap out here, you know, being able to buy land, you know, for just a few $1,000s or what have you, outside of you know, the city's, you know, the city limits, you know, about 30-minute drive to get here, it's beyond phenomenal. It really is. And so, you know, being able to buy that, and then, you know, being able to you know, get the fruits of your labors back from it, you know, as opposed to, you know, where a lot of places you're buying property, you're buying homes, you're buying anything, and it's basically just you know, costing you money in order to have these things, as opposed to the opposite, in which, you know, these things are supposed to be you know, what is it, preservers of wealth. You know, buying property, buying a home, you know, having these things as part of your, you know, your portfolio, you know, which is, you know, your savings and all that shit, you know what I mean? That's basically it. So, you know, again, a lot of people are moving out here of all ages, basically because they just want more security out of their life, you know, more security out of everything. And so, you know, moving to a place like Cancun, it's basically, again, if you have a lot of money, you're moving to Cancun, Acapulco, and you're living in a gated community, you know, outside from, you know, the disturbance of the people and all that stuff. But, you know, the reality is that, hey guys, sorry about that. As you guys already know, I had one of those famous SD card errors. You already know that I'm working on getting a brand new camera for Christmas, some new equipment. So just you know, bear with me, you know, as we get through this together, guys. So, you know, as I was saying, you know, the reason I wanted to compare, you know, Merida, Mexico to Cancun is because there's a lot of you guys out there, a lot of you guys that are constantly always asking me and you know, wanting to know what the major difference is, because a lot of you guys are contemplating, you know, moving out to Mexico, moving out of your comfort zone, moving to a different country, and you guys really want to, you know, outweigh the pros and the cons. And a lot of you guys, I think, are under the misconception that a place like Cancun or even Acapulco or other places like that are relatively safe, when they're not. They're not safe at all, and they're expensive, and they're the opposite of a place like Merida is, and that's like 1,000,000%. So, you know, that's why I wanted to make this video, because, you know, there's a lot of you guys that, you know, some of you guys do know about these things, some of you guys don't know about these things. And so, you know, the reality is that, you know, I want to make these videos just to inform you guys, you know, so you guys make the best possible decision. Because the thing is, you know, there's you know, Cancun is great, you know, for certain things. You know, Cancun is wonderful, and Acapulco are wonderful if you're in the upper 1%, if you're looking to party, if you're looking to do heavy drugs, if you're looking to live and do a certain kind of lifestyle. Cancun is great. You know, just like Miami, Las Vegas, and all these places are great. But I think the majority of you guys out there are just looking for a safer place to live, looking for a lower cost of living, looking for a more tranquil place, you know, somewhere where, you know, you can actually enjoy life, a better quality of life, better quality of living. And you guys are looking for, you know, a bunch of other things, you know, where you can raise a family better, where you can, you know, do a lot of these other things that you want to do in your own country, but you can't. And so therefore you have to go outside of your comfort zone and literally move to another country in order to just get the same things that you were promised in your own country, you know, which is just the basic necessities of living a regular basic life, and that's it. And so, you know, just like a lot of people leave, you know, Latin American countries or leave other poorer countries, you know, and go to America, you know, to live that American dream. Well, you know, most Americans and most Canadians and most Europeans, you know, we don't have that dream anymore to speak of. And so, you know, that's why we're constantly exploring the rest of the world and trying to figure out where we would fit best. You know, some of you guys, you know, want to live out here in a place like Merida, Mexico. Some of you guys want to live in Asia. Some of you guys want to live in other parts of Latin America, you know, and some of you guys want to live in Eastern Europe. You know, the point is that, you know, we're all looking for a brand new home. We're trying to find our home, and all we can do is just, you know, educate ourselves as best as possible, and then, you know, make that decision when that decision is made, you know, is when the right time for that decision comes. And so that's it. So again, guys, you know, this video is just basically to, you know, just talk about a few misconceptions about, you know, the comparisons of, you know, Cancun and Merida, and just to give you a quick overview. If you like this kind of video, if you like this kind of content, and you guys you know, want to see more, you guys want to have more of a discussion about this particular topic, then please, let's do so, and I'll do some actual research, and we can you know, go about this you know, video, because I would love to talk more about this, and it's you know, I'm trying to make videos that you guys want to watch. So guys, you already know the deal. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, and please stay awesome. And that's it, guys. I gotta get out of here. I love you guys, and I gotta get back in there. I gotta get my beer. All right, so I'll see you guys later, guys. Hey guys, me and Lambo are still here. Show's not over. Just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder to please check out the online store, where you can find all kinds of awesome merch. Also, check out josearteaga.com, where, you know, it's the website for me and all this other stuff. So also, you know, check out Discord. It's an online community in which everyone, all my fans, hang out. Again, just, you know, click at the link in the bottom description of every video here, where you can just join the community and continue the conversation, where we talk about, you know, all this and beyond. So please, don't forget to check us out there. Check me out on Instagram, check me out on Twitter, check me out everywhere. In fact, always look at the description of every video. You can find all kinds of stuff at the bottom of the description of every video. Again, I'm always giving you all kinds of goodness. So, you know, whether you're checking the description of the video or whether you're watching the next video, which you're gonna see some here now, you're gonna have all kinds of fun. So again, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys when you